What's going on YouTube? In today's video I want to talk about the cons of owning a '04 Tahoe, but this is going to go for 2000 all the way through the 2006 Tahoe. So before we get into the video, make sure you go ahead and leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and hit that bell to know when I post. But let's go ahead and jump into it. So the first con of the 2000-2006 Tahoe is the 4L60. Pretty much the 4L60s are a 4-speed automatic transmissions that come in all of the 2000-2006 Tahoes, and that's definitely probably the weak point of this truck. It's just not a great transmission overall, just because number one, the gears are extremely long. If you ever driven a Tahoe, Suburban, Yukon, Silverado, Sierra, you know that these transmissions, the gears are, by the time you do a 0 to 60, you might shift by the time you're at 60 first off, and then they can't really handle much power. If you start upgrading your truck, that's probably going to be the first problem point of the truck, is going to be that 4L60. The second con is going to be the cooling system in general. A lot of these trucks came with clutch fans. Well, a lot of these SUVs came with clutch fans, which, like this one right here, I have a spare one, but that fan with a little clutch assembly on it, that is connected to the water pump and it spins off of that. The problem is these fans can't idle up when, let's say it's a hot day and the truck is idling and just heating up. The fans can't idle up because they move based on the speed of the engine. So if you're not moving and you're at idle and it's a hot day, then your truck's probably just gonna slowly start overheating. Even even if you don't have any problems with that, it's just how it's set up. Electric fans, they are powered by electricity, so the computer tells it, okay, turn on when it's this temperature. So that's a problem. And then again, the transmission cooler on these trucks is very small. So the radiator on this truck is fine, but the transmission cooler is definitely too small if you live in a warmer area, and the fan setup is not great. So that's something you probably want to consider upgrading. They do have upgrade kits where you can switch the clutch fans over to the electric. That's up to you. If you don't live in an area where you see hot temperatures, then you probably don't need to do that anyway unless you're towing heavy loads. But I live in Texas, and I know a lot of people live in warmer climates. If you do live in a warmer climate where you see, mid to high 90s, 100s, you probably want to do this upgrade. I'm probably going to do it sometime in the near future. But that's the second con, is just some of the cooling system parts on this truck. It's not the best, but at the same time, you can still change it all out, and it shouldn't be too expensive. So that's going to be my second con. So the third con is just going to be a lot of the interior pieces. So let's go over to the truck and look at what I'm talking about exactly. So we're on the inside of my '04 Tahoe, and my truck has probably one of the cleaner interiors you'll see. I don't have any scratches. Well, I don't have any rips or tears in the seats. Not really any major stains, except for in the floor mat. But you can see this truck, even though it's dirty, the interior is in very good condition in this truck. But even so, a few problems you'll run across is this piece right here on the center console. It will always crack. It just happens. There's no way to get around it. And your dash normally will crack. Mine hasn't, because it's been taken care of. But the dashes on these trucks sometimes crack too. And the last major problem is the gauge cluster. I haven't ran into that problem yet though, but these gauge clusters, GM I guess put some bad grounds in them, and pretty much they just go bad after a while. Depending on if you got a faulty one or not, they tend to go bad. So after so long, you'll have to replace the gauge cluster, or you can go in and take it apart and just resolder it. But the grounds that they soldered in on these gauge clusters were not great, so that's something to take into consideration. But that's pretty much it on the interior. If you take this to the dealership to replace something like a gauge cluster, they'll probably charge you somewhere around $500 for an OEM GM one. So If that ever happens to you, try to fix it yourself if you know how to take things apart. They have plenty of videos on it. Do that. But that's definitely a con of this truck, is the gauge cluster and the interior parts in general. You know, door handles, plastics, a lot of this stuff. I mean, it holds up well, but I mean, you got to be careful. It will fall apart on you. So that's that. But I also like this interior, but this is a cons video. So let's move on to the next con, which I'm gonna sit in the truck now. Don't feel like going back in there. I'm comfortable in here. So the next con, which is gonna be the fourth con, is gonna be the gas mileage. And might be like, well, you got an SUV, why are you talking about gas mileage? Well, you know, you can't have everything in the truck world. I went through the pros video of all the things the truck can do, but the gas mileage on this truck is probably something that is not the best. So with the gas mileage, it really depends, you know, on what you're doing with this truck. If you're towing, obviously your gas mileage is not going to be good. If you're towing anything, gas mileage won't be good unless it's something very light. So, but in general, like for me, I have a lifted truck, with lift kit, wheels, tires, and a lot of that stuff has added weight to the truck. I also have that bar on the front that weighs like almost 200 pounds, the grill guard. So a lot of that stuff is affecting your gas mileage, and it already wasn't great because gas mileage wasn't a huge focus back then. But compared to other SUVs, your gas mileage is going to be bad, and it's just a part of it. Last, and the fifth con, front brakes on this truck. And that is a random con. But if you have a Tahoe that has the single piston front brakes, that is the first mod you need to do. You need to get those things off of there. You are going to die with those single piston front brakes on there. You know, I don't want to wish death on nobody, wish harm, but that's probably has to be one of the most dangerous braking setups I've ever seen on a truck. Fortunately, mine had some small two pistons on there, but I still upgraded them to the 07 Tahoe two piston brakes. I'll talk about that in a later video. But the brakes, the one pistons on the front, I mean, they're not good for, if you plan on doing anything with that truck, and you drive in the city, or you're doing a lot of just driving in places where there's traffic in general, then that's not going to be the best, especially if you have to slam on your brakes or anything like that. If you're towing, they're not good at all, so I would definitely recommend upgrading those. And that's probably one of the most unsafe things about this truck is the braking system. So, but with that being said, that's gonna be all my cons for this truck. I don't have any problems with this truck. A lot of the common problems that Tahoes have, I haven't encountered yet, and my truck has 170,000 miles. But we'll see what happens down the line. But I love this truck. And I've said it in previous videos, this is the best vehicle I've owned, just because I can do anything I want and need to in it. I can tow, I can carry my family around, I can store a whole bunch of stuff in here if I need to. If I'm going somewhere and I need to just throw a whole bunch of stuff in this truck, I can. And it's just been so useful. I haven't driven anything but cars, so this truck has been very useful. So for the price, in my opinion, there's not a better SUV out there, and there's not a more versatile SUV out there for the price, in my opinion. I just saw someone comment in a video, my last video, said they got a Tahoe for 800 bucks, and that's just amazing, man, because these trucks run forever. But I'm not gonna ramble on. This is a cons video, but I just wanted to let y'all know where I stand on my truck, like I do in every video. But that's gonna do it. So if you like the video, let me know by hitting that like button. Comment down below if there's some cons that I missed and some cons that you might have experienced with your truck, and I'll try to respond to every comment. So if you have any questions, also comment down below as well. But I hope this video was helpful, and for all my new people, hope y'all enjoyed it. Subscribe and hit that bell, and as always, y'all take it easy, and I will see y'all on the next video.